I have two Gibson guitar built amplifier prototype cabinets that were abandoned in the late 80s, early 90s that I'm going to complete the prototype, basically. The Gibsons that never were. So today I'm going to address the issue of what chassis to use and how to mount that chassis. These cabinets are maple and they are painted in Gibson finish. So I don't want to do a traditional Fender style mounting of chassis where you put holes through the top of the cabinet and you run chassis straps to distribute the weight, and they're bolted in that way, hanging. I have an idea for how I want to do this where the chassis will slide in and then it will bolt from underneath, and I think that's going to work out great, and it'll keep the original clean look on the outside and not do any messing with the finish. I was interested in saving some time and money and found that the brownface Fender chassis was about 1/8 of an inch too big, but still close enough within 1/8 of an inch to fit in these cabinets. I've already determined which circuit that I'm going to use as my platform for this build, and in terms of layout for tube complement and for front panel design, it's going to work out great to use these Fender brownface chassis. I happened to find two of these chassis available B-stock. They were made by Mojo Tone, and I guess they didn't put the last screw holes in them, so they were just selling them cheap on eBay as a B-stock. So that was perfect because I wasn't going to use those specific holes for mounting anyway. This will just work out great for my project. So let me show you what I've done to these chassis to make them fit, and what modifications I've done for the circuits, and then we'll go ahead and get them mounted in these cabinets. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a brownface Fender Deluxe chassis, and it was two of them that I bought B-stock. Now they had a little ear that came up, and there were two holes up here that had not been drilled, was the reason why they were selling them cheap as B-stock. But since I'm not going to be using that method of mounting, I was able to remove these ears, these sides, and this is what bought me that extra 1/8 of an inch that's going to make these fit into the cabinets. Turns out that the front panel layout is going to be perfect for what I want to do, and also the tube complement was perfect, except what I needed to do was, let's see if I can show you here. So I added this because I'm going to add an octal preamp tube right here, and then I added this because I am going to use a multi-cap can mounted to the chassis. Those are my two main modifications, other than just cutting the sides off of it and grinding it so that it will fit. With these sides ground down, the chassis is going to slide in like this. And see how nice that looks? Very, very nice. Okay, as I mentioned before, I have videos about building a chassis from scratch. When you're building a chassis from scratch or you're modifying an existing chassis, the way to get these perfectly sized holes is to use a Greenlee chassis punch. Now this one is 1 3/16 inch, and this is the one that you need to do an octal tube. And this smaller one here is 7/8 inch diameter, and this is what you need to do like a 9-pin 12AX7 or ELE4 style tube. Yeah, so the way these work is you drill your hole, put it through, you put the screw the bottom piece on, And then you can take a pair of a crescent wrench or something, and you can, and as you tighten this, it will draw this up and it'll cut a perfect hole. So for building amps, you're gonna need those two different tube socket hole types. And then there's one more that I use all the time. And that is, this one here is 11/16, and this is the perfect size for the pilot lamp hole. So really, if you're building your own chassis, you know, you can find these on eBay used. So I would get those 3 sizes if you're going to use that. Now you could use a step drill bit, but this is more precise. It's a perfect cut every time. Okay, so the way I've decided to mount these chassis is to use rivnuts. So it's basically a rivet nut, and it will be such that I will mount these on the chassis like this, and then I will build little shelves inside the cabinets that you bolt from underneath, and it will hold it in place, and it will keep it in there. So this is the same mounting technique that you would find in a train wreck. So if you're building a train wreck clone, you use rivnuts to keep the chassis mounted in the all wooden cabinet. Okay, now so I've cut these out of Baltic birch plywood, 3/4 inch plywood, and I'm using Baltic birch because it's nice and stable, and it's light, it's strong. And what I need to do with these rivnuts, the way that they work is that you actually have to have a very precise hole. So you don't want a sloppy so that it's wiggling around in there. It needs to be nice and tight and precise all the way around, because when you use the rivnut tool, it actually will, just like a regular rivet, the top part of it will collapse and make it too big to come through the bottom of the hole. I think I can use these holes that are already here and enlarge them and still have plenty of room to make it work. So I will use the plies going like this. You'll be able to see the plies from the top part, because there you're just having the weight of the chassis rest on it and it's kind of distributed, whereas the screws holding this to the side, if you put them in through this way, you're actually sandwiching the plies together and it's not going to split open on you like that. And file this edge, clean it up a little bit. So now I'm going to install these quarter 20 rivnuts. All right, take a look at that. Looks good. Perfect. So now I'm going to line up these pieces so I could drill holes in them. And I'm going to mark which is the back. So now I'm going to drill holes in these. I'm going to drill pass-through holes for the chassis bolts, but also I'm going to pre-drill screw holes. I'll probably use glue. I'll probably tack it in place with a brad nailer, and then I'll put the 3 screws in it after they've been tacked in place with the brad nail. I'm also gonna paint them flat black also. Okay, so I've got these marked as to which ones they go with, and I drilled the hole slightly oversized just so that there's a little bit of wiggle room when these get installed. If they don't line up exactly perfectly, it'll still be all right. I've got the pre-drilled holes for the side for the screws to go through the side into the cabinet. And like I said, I think I'm gonna use a brad nailer. I'm gonna use glue. I'm gonna use a brad nailer to tack them in place, and then once they're tacked in place, I'll take the chassis out, and then I will pre-drill the holes in the cabinet and run some screws in there also. So it'll be nailed and screwed and glued, so it's never gonna come out. Okay, I'm back from Lowe's, 50 bucks later. I'm gonna use this stuff, Easy Liner. It's basically shelf liner. It doesn't compress very much, and I'm just needing a little bit for the tops of these for this to rest on. So I'm writing it on the inside here because, you know, when I match that up, I'm gonna paint everything. Okay, that way I don't get confused. All my holes are gonna match up perfectly, and I don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna paint these. I'm gonna glue these strips on, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mount the stuff to the cabinets. It's a very nice day today outside. It's very fantastic. Makes me want to be outside. I'm done with winter, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna set these outside in the sun once I get some paint on them. I'm just using a flat black latex-based paint. It cleans up easy. All right, I bet my stuff's dry. Let's glue them on. I'm gonna use 77 spray. It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be easy. See, my glue's not totally dry. All right, look at that. Beautiful. If you're wondering why I'm just cutting on my desk like this and not using a cutting pad, well, I bought this desk 20 years ago at a Goodwill. It was only like maybe 40 bucks, and I've been cutting on it ever since then, and I do a lot of cutting. And I used to go through mats, and then one day when I was poor, I cut through my mat and it was done, and I just started cutting on this top, and I've been doing it for a decade now, and it's fine. No big deal. So, you know, if it's bothering you, sorry. Somebody will say, you shouldn't cut on your desk like that, man. It's disrespectful. No respect. All right, perfect. Okay, so now I have these beautiful little pieces here. Now I need to cut out the pass-throughs for the screws. Now another reason to do this is I'm actually, this isn't just cosmetic, I guess, but I'm also kind of, in a way, decoupling the chassis from how it's mounted to the cabinet for resonance. You know, this is going to help having this foam pad in here. It'll be slight, but it will make a difference. Now we're ready to fire up the compressor and tack these in. Okay, so I finished with these for today. I changed out those screws. I didn't really like the way when you chuck up an angle adapter for your drill. When you're trying to do a Phillips head screw and pull it out, it's just not that great. So much easier to use a hex head bolt and anyway, access it like that. So I got the chassis installed and I think it looks great. And honestly, this was one of the parts of this build that I was trying to think through how I was going to do it, and I think it came out really clean and simple, definitely effective, and it doesn't lose any of that look of how clean these cabinets are and how beautiful they are, so I didn't have to drill holes in the top. So you can see there that I used hex head stainless steel bolts with washers instead of those Phillips head screws, and I countersunk for those bolts. So I glued, I tacked, and I screwed, and now it's bolted in through the rivet nuts. And it's a fantastic way to hold all that. It's gonna be very sturdy. I'm not worried about it one bit. So there you go, they look great, coming along.